Good afternoon. Today is December 2nd, 2013. My name is Catherine Bittenbender, and I'm here with Michael Desantis. He is a member of the Army National Guard Reserves here in Massachusetts, and he served in Afghanistan from March 2011 to March 2012, and he's agreed to be interviewed for the Student, Citizen, and Soldier Oral History Project here at Salem State University. Hi, Mike.
Hello.
So let's talk a little bit about your life early on. Tell me about your childhood.
Okay, I was a kid, typical, kid growing up playing sports. I played football, baseball, loved being out of the house. I was active.
Yeah.
Had a lot of friends.
What town did you grow up
Malden, Massachusetts.
in? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty close-knit community. I was always out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Came from a Catholic family.
Cool.
So.
Is your family pretty religious? Do you go to church a lot?
No. Only for weddings.
Oh, cool. Not on holidays, Christmas, Easter, any of that?
No.
Wow.
I went to a Catholic school for 9 years, so I
Yeah.
figured I paid my dues then.
Yeah. Did you think you learned a lot there? Or?
Yeah, but that was a long time ago, so I pretty much forgot what I learned there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
Growing up, I wanted to either be in the military, police officer, firefighter, or work with kids at a school.
So this has been a long-term ambition.
Mhm.
Yeah. How did that come about? Why did you want to be that? Any idea?
Just I was seeing my friends' parents, cops,
Yeah.
firemen, I thought they were cool, so
Mhm.
it's oh wow, I want to do that.
Is anyone in your family serving in any of those capacities?
No, not at the moment, no.
Is there any tradition of military service? In your
Yes,
family?
my grandfather was in. A couple of my uncles were in the military, so.
What combat did, or what war did they serve in?
My grandfather served in World War II,
Okay.
and his brother was also in World War II too.
What did they do? I mean, what branch did they serve?
They're in the
with?
Army.
Cool.
Mhm.
In Europe, or
Yes.
they tell you any stories about that?
No, I never asked him. He never talked about it, so.
Yeah, yeah. What led you specifically to join the National Guard?
Well, it's something I've always wanted to do, but after 9/11,
Mhm.
I was it felt like an obligation,
Mhm.
and I was getting older. So I was 26 when I joined, and I felt like if I'm going to do it, now's the time to do it. So I decided to join the National Guard. I chose the National Guard over the Army because the National Guard is 1 week in a month. It pays for you to go to school. I felt that it was more beneficial for me.
So were you going to school as soon as you joined, or?
No, I went to college first,
Mhm.
and then got my bachelor's degree in business, and then decided to go into the military, which I probably should have done vice versa. They would
Why?
have paid for it.
Yeah.
But now they're paying for me to come to Salem State, so.
Cool.
Mhm.
How does your family feel about you joining the military?
They were proud of me. Of course,
Yeah.
my mother was a warring mother, oh, I don't want you to do it, but if it's something that's going to make you happy, then they back me up 100%.
Yeah.
And now they're really proud of me, serving, so.
Very good.
Mhm.
Did your mother have any specific worries, or?
That I would go overseas and not come back, so that was the biggest worry. But
Yeah.
I made it home, so.
Yeah. Good.
Mhm.
Did any of your friends from school also sign up, or are you sort of?
Not my close immediate friends.
Mhm.
I just knew friends growing up that I wasn't really close with. I knew
Mhm.
that they joined, so I would talk with them about it while they were in, and they would tell me about it. So I knew a lot about the military before going into it. So
Just from talking to
just
them?
from talking to them, yep.
Oh, that's good.
Mhm.
Now, what do your friends, your close friends, think about you being in the military and serving?
They're proud of me. They're supportive. They respect the fact that I chose to be in the military, and they're happy for me.
That's good.
Yep.
Did anybody? You mentioned you had a couple of uncles who served.
I did. I really don't know them too well. I just
Mhm.
knew they're distant relatives. One was in the Air Force.
Okay.
He was a fighter pilot.
Also in World War II.
That I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
I didn't really get into the family tree. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Sometimes they don't want to talk about
Mhm.
it. So what was it like going into the military after you thought about it?
Well, after I sign up, I'm like, wow, I'm really property of the government now. So I should probably start working out and getting back into shape.
Yeah.
But I really didn't have much time to think about it because I did a quick ship. Basically, I signed, and 3 weeks later, I was
Mhm.
leaving for basic training.
How long did basic training take?
For me, it was almost 3 months. There's
Wow.
9 weeks of basic training, and then you go into it's called your MOS. It's your military occupation.
Okay.
It's what you're actually going to go into. And infantry is a 2-week school, so
Okay.
it was 9 weeks, then 2 weeks of the school. So
So it's almost 4 months. They had you.
it was tough. Got into really good shape. I was in the best shape of my life.
Are you still in that shape?
No, no, that was 7 years ago.
So what sort of changes did you have to make when you got there that was different from your real life?
Just a more structured environment.
Mhm.
Pretty much everything was planned for you day to day.
Hmm.
Always being told what to do. You had to rely on others. Like you couldn't be self-dependent.
When, like, for example?
Just like everyday military tasks, like you were always with a buddy. They call it the buddy system.
Mm-hmm.
And you wouldn't survive in the military without the help of other people around you. So you got to learn to cope with different cultures, different people from different parts of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty interesting. So
Anything in particular come to your mind when you'd?
we had a lot of guys from the south, so
Okay.
it was hard communicating with them because of the accents, because they could never understand Boston accents. They thought we were from a different planet. Same with us, but it was fun. Got to meet a lot of new people.
That's good. Did they have to make any accommodations for you, or?
No, no, everything's on them. So.
Okay. So, theoretically, what do you think is the best thing and the worst thing about the National Guard?
The best thing is the camaraderie you make with people. You learn a lot about yourself outside. I did from going in the military.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you think that if you can't do something, well, you actually can do it as long as you try to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you more confident.
That's good.
What I don't like about it, it can interfere with your personal life.
How so?
Like my position, I'm a leadership position.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I'm not doing the 1 week, I'm not in the military like full time, we still do a lot of running around, trying to help out you guys, getting them squared away. There's a lot of schools, and that can interfere with like work and family life. But,
These are schools at the National Guard?
yeah,
Is that
they'll send you to schools if you want to go to them. But,
like what?
airborne school, you learn how to jump out of planes. Air assault, like that's you jump out of helicopters, like, that kind of stuff.
Did
so.
you do any of that?
No, I didn't do any of that.
You're
no.
not going to jump out of planes?
No. I'm good with being on the ground.
So you had to deal a lot with them telling you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Did they ever give you any orders that you had to stop and think about that might have clashed with your personal ethics?
No, they're pretty good about that. If it's, they won't tell you to do something if they won't do it themselves. It's part of the code being like in a leadership position, and they were pretty lenient with people's cultures, and so I never had that situation.
Can you give me an example of maybe a culture that they were sort of lenient with when necessary?
That I really don't have any. I never really saw it or witnessed it.
Okay.
But, so.
Worth a try.
Yeah.
What is the military attitude towards civilians, people who aren't serving?
My opinion is civilian people do their own thing, we do our thing. Like they really don't understand what people in the military go through.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like I have a good perspective, like good feel for the civilian world. So like, I mean, I have no issues with them. They don't have any issues with us. So
Sure. Yeah. It's just I wondered if it might have changed how you see or relate to members of your family who aren't in combat.
You can definitely pick out people who are much more lazy now. So you look at people and like, wow, they're pretty lazy. Like there's a lot of people, especially from like traveling around the world to Afghanistan. You see a lot of people that are in really, really bad situations, and then you see civilians here who complain about a line at the store or something, and we have that mentality that we can look past like the small stuff. So
You have a different perspective on the whole thing. Okay. What do you think? This is more current events. What do you think of the recent policy changes allowing gay people to serve openly and allowing women to serve officially in combat roles?
Well, coming from a combat position,
Yeah.
women, if they can handle it, good for them. I personally, no offense, don't think that most women will be able to handle it just because of like the amount of stress put on your body.
Yeah, physical stress.
And
Okay.
but like same sex, like whatever makes you happy, I don't care. This is 2013. It's
Uh-huh.
pretty normal in life today, so
Yeah.
it should be normal in the military.
Did you ever see any women serving in combat roles, or have any gay service members that you know about?
No gay service members that I knew about.
Mhm.
Women, like where I was stationed, we were in a joint operations. Like we were joined up with other branches like the Navy
Mhm.
and civil affairs units, and they had
Mhm.
women, and they would come out on missions with us, and they can hold their own. So,
Good.
mhm.
Yeah, I've been watching on TV now. They sometimes bring women, especially into zones in the Middle East, to
Mhm.
deal with women civilians and so forth.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've seen any of that.
No.
Okay. Do you think it will have either of those changes will have any long-term effect on the military? or-
It definitely will, because like they're gonna have to accommodate women like physical activities we do, like physical training. So it might weaken the military a little bit,
Mhm.
not like in a bad way, but like physical fitness wise and stuff.
Mhm.
Like they have to make adjustments to like training, and so
Do you think it's going to have a good or a bad effect on the ability to military readiness, I guess you'd call it?
I don't think it'll have a bad effect. No,
Mhm.
as long as everybody's training, doing what they have to do.
Sure.
I mean, training's gotten more lenient as the years have gone on since World War II.
How so?
Not as strict.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we were always built on being in a very strict environment, and it's become more lenient in some
Mhm.
cases. So,
Can you give me any specific examples?
just, well, like in World War II, like they can be physical with you. Like
Mm.
we were basic training and stuff.
Okay.
And now you can't be touched or anything. So,
Interesting.
mhm.
I didn't know
They were a lot more tough back then.
that. Okay. So let's talk about Afghanistan.
Mhm.
What were your experiences over there? Where were you stationed?
I was stationed in this province called Ghazni, about southeastern part of Afghanistan. We were in a very high combat zone,
Hmm.
so personally, I don't think we should have been over there. From my perspective, what I
Mhm.
saw, I was part of we were called Provincial Reconstruction Team,
Okay.
it was Army, Navy, Air Force personnel.
Mhm.
We were the security force for the Army and Navy. We were teamed up with Special Forces, Navy SEALs, which they would go out to the public, try to work with the local government,
Mhm.
try to get schools, try to build roads,
Mm.
which would get blown up on a daily basis. I saw the U.S. government pretty much trying to change their way of life.
Mm.
Like they're building schools for girls.
Yeah.
In their society, girls don't go to school.
Oh.
So, I mean, it was good what they're trying to do, trying to make their way of life better, but you're not going to change someone's way of life when it's been like that for 3,000 years. So.
Yeah.
But-
So you were guarding the people who were building the schools?
We were guarding the people that would go out and meet with like the town leaders,
Mhm.
the local government, the Afghani National Police, the
Mhm.
Afghani Army, and when they were doing they're called KLEs, key leadership meetings.
Mhm.
We would be out in the villages, roaming around, patrolling. So, and if we weren't doing that with them, we were going out into the villages by ourselves, patrolling. So,
You must have come into contact with a lot of local civilians.
we did. Some liked us there, some didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff thrown at us by kids. Yeah, they really didn't want us there. So,
Do you think they got that from their parents, or do you think they?
Yeah, it's probably from the older folk. They definitely didn't want us there.
Mhm.
Like the younger folk, they were more lenient to us being there.
Mm.
So you could definitely tell like the age brackets.
Hmm.
So.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Now, was the Taliban active in that area? when
Yes,
you
they
were
were. They're very active.
there? Okay, so you were sort of worried about them.
Yeah, on a daily basis.
Did you ever have any encounters directly with them?
We had encounters with them face to face, but there was not shooting involved.
Mhm.
We were shot at a lot
Ouch.
on a daily basis, but like if they don't have weapons on them, we can't do anything.
Mhm.
So that was the only time that we were really close up with them, where they didn't have weapons. so we couldn't do anything in those situations. But we're on base. We got shot at base a lot. So
The base itself
Mhm.
was
on a daily
fire?
basis, is pretty much play dodgeball.
Oh, goody.
You hear the alarm go off, go run to a bunker. So
How many times a day did the alarm go off about?
sometimes once, sometimes twice a day, where I was. So it was pretty active.
Sounds like a fun place.
It was a blast.
Now, what is your rank and your specialization? You
I
said
am an E5. I'm a sergeant,
Okay.
and what I do is I'm in a team leader position,
Mhm.
which in my squad there's a squad leader, two
Mhm.
team leaders, and then in that team I have 3 guys under me.
Okay.
So my job is to train them to be proficient in everyday soldier tasks, whether it's with their weapon, with moving as a squad, like a team, communications, PT. Even on their personal lives, if they have problems, they'll call me and I can try to give them guidance. So
So you're sort of their go-to guy.
yeah, I'm their adopted dad.
Were they all younger than you or older? or same
They're all
age?
younger than me. The youngest guy I have, he's 20 years old.
Okay.
So the other ones are 27, 28.
How many people total in your squad?
Right now there's 9 guys in my squad,
Mhm.
and then in our platoon there's like 40 guys.
Okay.
Mhm.
How many tours of duty did you sign up for? I know you're in the reserve, so I'm not quite sure
I've
how
done
that works.
one tour,
Okay.
and I have a year and a half left.
Oh, good.
So after that, I'll be almost 9 years.
Can they reactivate you when they please?
After my 8-year contract is up, no, because you're officially done.
That's good.
So, but as of right now, if we got called overseas, let's go. So. Mhm.
Yeah, my father used to say they always send the reserves out to be shot at first. So what was life like over there when you weren't actively out patrolling besides playing dodgeballs with the munitions?
Just hanging on the base, working out, maintaining our equipment, making
Mhm.
sure our trucks are ready to go, our weapons are ready to go. If we weren't doing that, wasn't working out. We were in barracks, hanging out with the guys, playing video games.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. There's really nothing else to do. Either work out or hang out and play video games. That's it.
You guys still play poker anymore?
Yeah, they play poker. Yep.
Yeah.
I wasn't too big into that. I only know how to play Texas Hold'em. They all like to play different games that I didn't know
Yeah.
or really care to know. So
It's interesting. I'm assuming if you're playing video games and also a lot of your contact with your family was through internet?
yeah,
hookup?
we had internet. So there was a lot of Skyping.
Mhm.
I mean, sometimes the internet was slow. Sometimes it wasn't working, but we were able to communicate at home.
Did you have to sign up for a particular slot to do that, or?
No, we had to pay for our internet.
Mhm.
It was through like a civil contract.
Hmm.
So we paid through the civilian contractors that were on the base. And there was also cell phones. You can buy cell phones at, we had they were called bazaars on the base.
Mhm.
But they were like, the locals had their own shops set up. So you can buy like prepaid phones.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's a lot different than like Vietnam or World War II, where you would get a letter once a month if you were lucky.
Yeah.
Now you can talk to people at home on a daily basis.
Is there any kind of censorship going on with that, or?
There is. I don't know to what extent. I know they probably look for like keywords or whatnot, but nothing that I know of.
That's good.
Mhm.
A little looser and freer than it used to be then.
Yeah.
You mentioned there were civilian contractors doing the internet stuff. Were there a lot of civilian contractors on your base?
There was, like, most of the base was civilian contractors. And
Mhm.
civilian contractors were, they were either their own security teams,
Mm-hmm.
or they would be the contractors that would go out and build the roads,
Mhm.
build the schools, work on the base, like in the maintenance bays, working on the trucks and stuff.
Hmm.
The chow halls, that's all contracted out to civilians, so.
Yeah, they had their own security teams, you said?
Yeah, there's private security forces
Mhm.
overseas that you can sign up for and go work for them.
Are they completely separate from the
They
military?
are, yep. Mhm.
Do they have to follow the same rules of engagement?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure. So.
Okay. Cool.
Mhm.
Do you stay in touch with the people from your unit now that you're
I do.
in the
I do.
United States?
Well, National Guard, we're all from Massachusetts,
Okay.
so there's a big group of us that we still talk. We go golfing, hang out, play
Mhm.
fantasy football together. So we still talk on a daily basis. A lot of us.
Good. Um, do you think your training over here prepared you adequately for what you experienced over there?
It did. You definitely get into that mental state
Mm-hmm.
that, to be able to take anything. At home, like, when you train up, we train up for 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
specifically for the mission that we were doing before we
Okay.
left. We went to Indiana. So you're training every day for your specific mission. So we knew what we were going to get into over there. So
Sometimes when you learn something, you go out in the field and just in civilian life, and
Mhm.
you have to learn all over again.
exactly. Yep.
Was there any of that? Did you feel like any of that was the case?
No, not really. No, because we had great training here.
Okay.
So I mean, it's different from a toy IED to an actual real live one. So it's different. But learning the language, that was tough.
Okay.
So just communicating with them over there.
So you learned some.
We learned some words. I really don't remember much.
Can you give me a few?
Waterega, that means stop. I forget other words. I don't know. It's been a couple of years since we've been over there. So.
Sure.
Mhm.
Okay. So when you were over there, what was your proudest accomplishment?
My proudest getting home, getting all of our guys home.
Uh-huh.
We lost one guy in my squad, but he left for medical and he passed away a month after he got home due to cancer.
Ouch.
Yeah, but all 40 of our guys, we all got home safe.
Oh, good.
So that was pretty good.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And what would you change, if you could, about your experience over there?
There's really not much I wouldn't change.
Mhm.
The guys I was with were awesome. We've been training together for like 6 years, so we were pretty close. I'd kind of like to do a mission over there where we weren't joined up with like Navy or Air Force, just to do our own thing.
Mhm.
But other than that, it was all in all, I wouldn't change much.
If you were doing that mission by yourselves, what do you think would be different about it?
We probably would have saw a lot more action than we did.
Mhm.
Our main mission was just to be their security, so 80% of the time we weren't going out looking for a fight per se.
Mhm.
So that's what it was. So
Mhm. You mentioned that you encountered real IEDs instead of fake
Mhm.
IEDs. Were those fairly common? You mentioned the road had gotten blown up.
oh yeah, they were going off on a daily basis.
Mhm.
We were stationed right outside of it's a main road in Afghanistan. They call it Route Ohio,
Okay.
and it's just one big long road for like miles and miles, hundreds of miles, and that was getting blown up on a daily basis.
Was this one that the U.S. forces built or the
Mhm.
coalition forces built?
U.S. They built that. Coalition forces built it too. So it's just a continuation. I think they're still building it. But yeah, even on like dirt roads, side roads, they were everywhere. You always had to be on the lookout. And they were big.
How big?
In our area, they were on an average of 200-pound IEDs,
That is big. Wow.
which the trucks we were using, they can disintegrate those. So
Wow.
we actually had one of the trucks get blown up. That was an interesting, scary day. So.
I guess.
Mhm.
Was this a utility truck or was it a transport?
The one?
The one that you said got blown up.
It was a transport. It was a gun truck. It had weapons on it. It was actually, we did joint missions with the Polish too, because we were stationed on the Polish base.
Okay.
So we came kind of close with them, and it was one of their vehicles that got blown up.
Mm.
It wasn't ours.
Still.
Yeah.
What advice would you give a soldier going over there for the first deployment?
Going over it, trust your training.
Yeah.
Trust your leadership. Go over there with an open mind. Just don't forget that. Just make sure that people back home aren't forgetting about them. And as long as you trust your training and you trust each other, you'll get home and safe.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a few opinions. You've already mentioned a couple, but I might go over them. Would you be willing to give your opinion about the War on Terror, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Enduring Freedom, and the way it's being waged now?
Okay. My opinion?
Yeah, sure.
My personal opinion is I think it's been a waste of money and a waste of soldiers' lives. We shouldn't have been over there
At all?
at all. No. We're trying to change another way of life. I mean, that'd be like them coming here to try to change the way we live. You know. We got the people that they needed to get, so I think it's time for everybody to come home. Especially with the fact that one of U.S. jobs over there is to train the Afghani police, the Afghani army, and you wouldn't know which one's a Taliban or not because they'd turn on you in a second.
Really?
Yeah, so you can't trust even them, so they should just send everybody home.
Okay. What do you think about the soldiers on the ground over there?
They're the best soldiers in the world, so.
Okay. Even the Polish?
I won't get into any Polish jokes, but
No, okay.
no. But U.S. soldiers, yeah, they got the best training, the best equipment.
Yeah.
So we know what they're doing over there. So.
Okay. What do you think of the politicians and the way they're behaving as regards to the war?
I don't think politicians should be involved in a war. They have no idea what they're talking about. In my opinion, they look at it as we're America, we can just take over anything we want. And money-wise, I mean, we wasted billions of dollars in a war that, what does it accomplish, you know? So I think they should just stay out of it and let the military run it.
Okay. What do you think the long-term outcome is going to be?
Well, Obama said that they were going to pull everybody out, but now they want to keep troops over there. So I don't know how long that's going to be. They want to keep troops in there to keep training the Afghan police and Afghan army. So I don't know. I think they should just send everybody home. Let them. It's their country. Let them deal with it. You know.
What do you think would happen if they did send everyone home?
As soon as the Americans leave, the Taliban's going right back in. They've said it 100 times when we were over there. We'll just wait for everybody to leave. You know. They'll take over the bases. They'll take over everything. So.
That's depressing.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you think about how the media has reported the war?
Honestly, I don't really pay attention to the media when it comes to the war. They don't report a lot that goes on over there. Like, for instance, soldiers getting killed. When I was over there in September alone, they call ramp ceremonies, where fallen soldiers, they send them off, they bring them to the helipads, and they have a big ceremony, send them off. I probably went to maybe 15, and each ceremony there could be more than one soldier. And I would talk to my families at home, have they heard anything? They're like, no, we haven't heard anything about soldiers being killed or anything. Wow. So I think the media doesn't do that because they keep showing soldiers getting killed. The public's just gonna not want the war to continue. So,
you know, when you of course are aware that the Bush administration originally would not allow that kind of reporting, and then that changed later on. But yeah. I really don't pay attention to the media.
Okay.
Well, did you have any reporters embedded with your unit?
No, I don't remember we did. I don't think we had any reporters.
Okay.
We might have. I just didn't know aware that they were there. So.
Okay, kept a low profile over there. All right. What would you like civilians here in the U.S. to know about the war?
Just that the soldiers, they're over there fighting for this country. It's because of them that where we're at today. So just don't forget about them. Constantly honor them. Be proud of them. So.
Okay. What do you think of whistleblowers like Bradley Manning and Edward Snowden?
I don't know. I don't really follow them, so.
Okay. So you haven't seen any of the material they made public?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was re-entry into U.S. civilian life like when you came home?
It was kind of a shell shock. I mean, when we got home, like, I was really hesitant to be in groups. I was distant from people, quiet. It was different because over there, you know what you're doing on a daily basis. You're structured. Back home, it's like, all right, what do I do now? I wake up, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm usually up at like 5 in the morning. It's like, okay, it was different. It was hard. It takes a while
Mhm.
to get back into it, but if you have a lot of good people around you, it makes it a lot easier.
Mhm.
So
Were you already married by that point?
no, I got engaged 2 months after when I got home. So
Okay.
mhm.
You said you sort of stayed away from groups of people. Any
Yeah,
particular reason?
large groups of people. Just because, excuse me, when you're over there, you're constantly your head's on a swivel. You're always
Mhm.
looking around, wondering who's gonna come after you, and you bring that home. It's like subconscious, like you're doing it without even thinking about it.
Sure.
Yeah, so like large groups of people. But now I'm pretty good with being in a big group of people.
So how long did that wind down take for that particular?
I'd say a couple months. Yeah, a couple months. But I still have you have trouble sleeping at night, so you have like flashbacks, dreams, and stuff. I guess so.
Do you
But
have those?
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Not as bad as a lot of guys would, but you do. It never leaves your mind.
Mhm.
What goes on, what you've been through. So, yeah.
Okay. Did the Army National Guard debrief you at all? Did they give you any instructions during your debriefing?
Coming home,
Yeah.
they give you a lot of information on like the VA,
Mhm.
family readiness programs, a lot of information on to reach out for help if you need help.
Mhm.
A lot of veteran reps to if you didn't have jobs,
Mm.
so stuff like that.
That's good. Have you had any kind of contact with the VA since you got back?
I have. I've been there for a couple of medical issues that
Mhm.
happened overseas. So
Did you feel like you got the kind of service you needed, or
the VA, they're kind of slow.
are they?
If you make an appointment today, you might get it 2 months from now.
Ouch.
But I mean, they're there.
Yeah.
So and if anything that's involved from the war that you're in, it's all free. So
That's nice.
yeah, but it's good to know that you can go to them, and they'll eventually help you. So
Keep working eventually.
yeah.
Okay. So tell me about Salem State's program for returning veterans.
Well, I really don't know much.
Okay.
I'm not really involved into it.
Okay.
The VA reps we have here, they're awesome. They're great. You can call
Mhm.
them, ask them a question. They'll help you out right away.
Great.
So I've talked to friends who've gone to other colleges,
Mm-hmm.
and their VA reps, they're not as quick to get back to them. But here I call up them and, all right, here's what you have to do. There's a lot of information out there. We get emails all the time for jobs for veterans,
Mhm.
so
That's
it's really good.
One of the other veterans in one of my classes said he's taking special veterans only English language, English
Oh, really?
literature classes and so forth, and they're all reading about the Odyssey as a group. And so-
Nice.
Yeah. What are you currently studying?
I am taking classes to get into the master's program in school counseling.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking a couple graduate classes, abnormal psychology, child growth and development, and group counseling.
What age group do you want to counsel?
High school, like 8th grade through high school.
Mm-hmm.
I want to help out the high school kids, try to put them on the right path.
Your wife is a teacher.
She is.
Yeah. What grade does she teach?
She teaches high school Spanish at Beverly High School. She's been
Okay.
there for about 10 years, and she likes it.
Did she have any influence on your decision to go into counseling after you came back?
No, she was very supportive with whatever I wanted to do. I've worked with kids. When I went for my undergraduate degree,
Mm-hmm.
I got in business. This was when I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with kids at an after-school and summer program for 4 years,
Oh.
and I loved that. That was my best job I ever had.
What did you do with them?
I was a group leader, and then acted as a site coordinator in charge of the program. Like after school, they'd come to us, would do math, sports, activities. Summertime, they were with us all day, every day. It was like a camp, camp for kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were from like foster homes in and out of, so they really didn't have too many people to look up to or trust.
Yeah.
So that's what we were there for. And I was like, that was my favorite time. So why not continue to do it,
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. What age group was this again?
We had those two, there was a 5 to 9 and then 9 to 12 group.
So get them young.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good.
Yep.
Now, where am I on my list here? What do you think you will bring to that from your military experience?
Just hard work. definitely when I'm talking to kids, notice these days the youth, they're getting kind of, they're slacking a little bit. A lot of them think that everything's handed to them now.
Yeah.
And-
Has it ever been different?
Yeah. And being like a guidance counselor with kids, I can, try to make, you need to work at stuff in order to succeed in life. So
Mhm.
hard work and, show them what hard work is, I guess. So.
When I've seen you in class,
Mhm.
because we take a class together, you
Mhm.
seem more relaxed speaking with Karen, who is also in the National Guard.
Mhm.
Do you find it easier to socialize with other veterans here?
Yes, definitely, because you both know what each other's gone through without even knowing their background, per
Mhm.
se, just
Yeah.
from the training. It's even easier to talk to veterans that we're deployed in the same area as you.
Mhm.
I feel a lot more comfortable talking to fellow veterans than
Sure.
with even with my friends. They know now not to ask me any questions or anything, but if another veteran did, I'd feel fine talking to them about anything. So it's a camaraderie that you build.
Mhm. Is it just a shared experience, or are you afraid that they're going to judge you? Or
No, you definitely don't judge each other. I
Mhm.
mean, a lot of soldiers have seen a lot worse than I have.
Mhm.
They're a lot worse off. You should respect them. I mean, it's an understanding. So there's no judging.
Sure.
Mhm.
I was actually referring to civilians, but
Oh, civilians? I don't. They don't judge.
that's good.
Yeah. So at least the ones I know don't.
I grew up during Vietnam, so things were a little different
Yeah.
then. Do you find, what's the most noticeable difference between veteran students and non-veterans?
Commitment to the work ethics, I guess, and
Mhm.
study wise.
Yeah.
In college, undergraduate, I was like a B student, and I didn't like to study or anything. But now, I'm always studying,
Mhm.
more disciplined in that area. So
B's not bad.
no, it's not. I got some C's, but no. Yeah, you definitely have a better work ethic, I guess.
Uh-huh. Do you notice that in general with the veterans versus the non-veterans here?
I only know a couple veterans that go here, and I don't really know any of the not like civilians outside of school, so I don't know how they are outside of school. So
Mhm. Are you on the continuing ed program here, or are you going days as well?
what was that?
We have a
continuing
continuing ed.
Yeah, continuing ed. Yeah, night classes. But I work full time too.
What do you do?
I am a 101 aide at an elementary school in Danvers.
What is that?
I basically work with one student. He's a 7-year-old with severe anger issues.
Mm.
So he's on an IEP plan.
Mhm.
He's got a separate classroom. There's another student in that classroom who has another aide, and then we have 3 kindergartners who come in throughout the day
Mhm.
to work with us. But they call me the bouncer at school because wherever he goes, I have to go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Does he
So-
like it?
He does. Yep,
Yeah.
he does, and I'm trying to integrate him back into his classroom more. So
Mhm.
it's very stressful, but it's good. I like it.
You find it satisfying?
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yep.
It's almost more important.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is the biggest impact in general that military service has had on you as a person?
Definitely my confidence. It's that you can do a lot more than you think you can.
Mm-hmm.
Before I joined, I'd be hesitant. I wasn't as confident,
Mhm.
going on interviews or working. Now it's all right, I joined. They built this confidence in me.
Good.
I served overseas. I came home, so you can almost conquer anything. So a lot bigger confidence level.
More than you had when you left?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about, rant about? Any stories or opinions you want to put into the historic record?
No, I don't think so. Unless you have any other questions.
No, that was my full thing.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. And that's the end of the interview.